Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today's Saturday. We got a live stream later tonight, probably a bonus and a second half. So we're going to start the day off with a very informative and very terrifying upload. Before we jump into that, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description below. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click the like button. It only takes a second. And please leave a comment. Why, you ask? Because all of these things, they do help. And guys, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? So, yesterday I shared with you all a very horrific video clip. I didn't put it on the channel. I shared the link, and many of you followed the link and saw what I was talking about, and a news article. I was not satisfied with the length of the article, nor was I going to let it go. So for those of you who didn't check out yesterday, a quick refresher. The link to the video that I'm discussing now is in the description. Also, it will be in a pinned comment. I do encourage you to watch it, but viewer discretion advised. It is very graphic. Now, what that video shows you is 3 people. A young woman who at first I thought was dead, but was not. A young man, and then another young woman. And the news article that was attached with it is very brief. A couple was attacked by an unknown animal. Unofficial sources claim this took place in Brazil, although this has yet to be confirmed. It has been confirmed. Translated from Portuguese via Google Translate, Portuguese is what they speak in Brazil. According to reports from survivors who pretended to be dead at the time, they saw that this large creature, all black in format of a large giant dog that stood on its feet, with huge claws and teeth and large fangs. The victims came from a village in which they belonged to a tribe. About 20 to 30 people were attacked, 7 were killed, several other wounded, some managed to escape. Several reports that this animal is taller than a man, stronger and very fast. The creature must be 2 meters tall. So reports locals in the region who are frightened to stay alone at night. The fact is, already the 4th time in less than 1 month without further information. So, immediately, I started to look into news agencies in Brazil, and I have shared with you guys, there was a video clip found a while ago, maybe a year or so. And supposedly it was a dying dog man that was hit by a tractor trailer in Mexico. The other story that was attached to it was killed by Mexican police and army. Yet I found the gentleman who created it. He's a special effects artist. Never wanted to confuse or cloud anybody. He created it for a movie. And some bozos that like to, I don't know, cloud cryptozoology with disinformation, posted it and created this crazy story around it, and it was fake. And the only reason why I found that was because VPN and changed my settings to where I lived. So I decided to look and figure out what I can do. And through OpenNet Initiative, I reached out to a news agency called Folha. And I left two messages, because they told me that this would probably be the best open news agency that speaks English and also would be willing to talk to an independent journalist, which technically I am. I waited for, a couple hours. A couple hours went by, and I'm checking my email diligently, hoping that I get something. And about 2, maybe 3 hours later, quick ran to the store, got home, bam, there was an email. And they left a phone number for me to contact them with. Contacted, spoke to them. This is what they had to say. So the area where this attack occurred is in a small village, a place called, and I'm not fluent in Portuguese, so I apologize. Pedra do Baú. Pedra do Baú. Now, it's a complex rock formation in the Mantiqueira Mountains in kind of the mid-western region of Brazil. Now, this Pedra do Baú, or Baú, however you want to pronounce it, like I said, it's a complex rock formation. And it's viewed by some of the smaller tribes that live in that area as a sacred area, kind of almost like a magic area. And the woman that I was speaking to was kind enough to fill me in on a little bit of the history, not history, but kind of lore, I guess. And so I had to jot this down rather quickly and ask her to slow down and repeat many times. So she ended up talking to me for a little bit, filled me in with a little information, let me go, and asked if I could call her back in about 2 hours. So 2 hours more, I wait. Now, what she told me about this Pedra do Baú is that local indigenous tribes. Now, there are like 300 different tribes, she said, in Brazil. Some Amazonian living right in the Amazon. A lot of others living in the mountains. Some have kind of accepted the modern way. Others haven't. This small tribe has accepted a little bit of modern technology, but they still have their beliefs. Apparently, this small tribe is 400 to 600 people large, and they believe in cosmology, some myths of creatures, and apparently portals. Now, this rock region is not man-made, but supposedly shamans of these local tribes view these kind of rock formations all through this area as sacred, and possibly being a conductor of portals. Now, she contacts me back, and she said that she had contacted another local reporter that she's friends with, and this open net initiative throughout Brazil there's 5 accepted news agencies, and they are controlled very tightly. So that's pretty much why this story has not gotten out, except for the one video and article. So apparently these people have had issues for years with these creatures, and it goes on for an extended period of time. They don't fight. It'd be pointless to fight these creatures. There's more than one, obviously. Apparently an old man, I don't know what the story is with the 3 people from the video. This is a story told to the woman from another reporter. So this is like third hand, but I tried. And I was really getting frustrated because I just wanted it to go smooth. But with the language barrier, trying to contact her, I for some reason it was hard to get in touch with her for the number that she gave me, but I did finally. So apparently there was an old man who where they are on the mountain, they can grow coffee, and they're not rich people. They don't make a lot of money. This gentleman was harvesting or checking on his coffee, one or the other, and he had heard kind of some scuffling in the brush above him, thinking that it's other members of his tribe. He hollers out, and he sees this dark dog-like monster kind of peer out of this bush, this coffee bush, and it growls at him. He is old, so he's not agile. He takes off trying to run, and the creature had no issues catching up to him. It was on him like that. It tore into him, slamming him on the ground. From what the gentleman reporter told the female reporter that I was talking to from Folha, which is a news agency there, that the creature felt like he was fighting a human, the old man, except it was so much more powerful than any human could be. And every time it grabbed this guy, it would cut into his body with its claws. It would slam him on the ground. It wasn't biting him. And I said, did it bite him? Because in the videos in that one video, there were kind of a puncture wound that looked like a bite, but it really didn't, because there weren't more puncture wounds around it. And it's kind of hard to imagine that getting bit by one of these creatures wouldn't cause like multiple puncture wounds. So as she's telling me this, it's slamming this old man down on the ground, and throwing him, not biting him, which I'm finding strange. So he somehow manages to get away. Either someone came up or he had gotten down. Like I said, there was a language barrier. She did speak pretty decent English, I guess, but not the best. And but he had lacerations on his body, but he had these holes in his body as well. These kind of coin-sized holes. I thanked her and I said, please take my email address down. If you hear anything more, please contact me. I'm indebted to you, you know. But after we got off the phone, I started to think about how she described these holes. And it brought me right back to 2 attacks here. The Christopher Whiteley attack, which was in Lipin, Texas. And he had a circular hole about the size of a nickel. And then the woman in Colorado, about 1.5 years ago, who was attacked by a bear, yet the dogs that she was walking with, little scrappy dogs, not big dogs, and I'm not insulting little dogs because little dogs are cool, somehow ended up at the house, yet this bear had cubs, yearling cubs, which if it was a bear and with yearling cubs, those little dogs would not have made it out. But she also had that kind of nickel-sized puncture. And I'm like, holy crap. These creatures, when they do attack a human, I mean, I may be wrong, but they don't bite. Possibly they do, but they take in a slam, but it makes so much sense that the thumb, I mean, our thumb is a decent sized, I got pretty decent sized hands. I don't have huge hands and I don't have small hands. I got decent sized hands. But if this creature or these creatures, how they attack and they grab, that would cause this kind of puncture and then slashes. And I'm like, wait a second. We are not anywhere close to solving anything, but I immediately, after I sat here and started jotting some notes down, called my oldest daughter and I said, Bud, I explained to her everything and I said, I think that these creatures, when they attack, they overpower humans and slam us just to almost show us who is the superior And slash is just a byproduct of the getting slammed down and pounded into the ground. And I'm like, this is a small piece of the puzzle, but it's a piece that we didn't have prior. We always thought they bite or slash, but how he described it, the slamming, I was like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. It's almost primate-like, right? So, I don't know. But that's what I got out of today. I know probably many of you are like, Jeff, that's not even exciting. What the hell? But to me, it was exciting because I actually contacted somebody that I didn't think I was going to be able to. I didn't think I was even going to get a speck of anything, but I did. And it wasn't a lot, but it was enough for me. It was enough to quench my thirst in my brain to get some sort of little answer. So what we'll do now is, like I said the other day, I wanted to kind of do a state by state, but instead of starting with the A's, we'll start in reverse. So we'll start with Wisconsin. All right. So once again, guys, I am not ever claimed that I'm an expert. I just share my theories with you guys in hopes that you guys will share some with me. And you do. I just want to solve the puzzle with you guys. I know that not one person can solve this puzzle. We have to solve it together. Now, when I said it attacks like primate, I really honestly am starting to believe that there were some sort of genetic splicing going on, possibly after prehistoric, somewhere around 12 to 13,000 years ago, when things were starting to evolve, populations were growing, pyramids were, when things were just, I don't know, but just a theory. So I just wanted to clear that up. I don't claim to be an expert. So if you disagree with what I say, that's awesome. I really don't. I don't have 100% belief in my theories either, because I always may come up with a different one, So if you've got something to offer, feel free to email me. I'd love to hear it. Let's jump into some encounters. We'll start with Wisconsin, like I said, and work our way. Dogman attack in Wisconsin. Jeff, how's it going? Here is my Dogman encounter for you. The year was 1991. I was fresh out of the military after coming home from Iraq. I was in central Wisconsin dating a girl who would later become my ex-wife. We were at a bar with a bunch of our friends and decided to step out for a bit. We drove her car out into the woods and parked for a little make-out time. All of a sudden, this thing jumped on and attacked the car. First onto the back, then quickly up to the top, then back to the side. I couldn't see too well because the windows were fogged up, but I could hear the claws against the metal and snarling. Then I could make out this huge, hairy beast. My girlfriend flew lightning fast from the back seat to the driver's seat and took off. I kept asking, "What was that? What the hell was that?" And she just kept saying, I don't know. Here's the thing, I knew it then and still know it now. It was a Dogman / werewolf. I got a sense she knew what it was as well. She just didn't want to say it. Jeff, thanks for sharing my experience with everyone. These things are real, and they are out there. Tonight's second subscriber Wisconsin experience. Thank you for reaching out. While I'm not sure if this is worthy of your show, here goes. About 3 to 4 weeks ago, I was driving in Crogville to London on Highway O just outside of Deerfield where I live, when I got the oddest, absolute cold feeling of being watched. Now, the corn is 6 feet tall right now, so seeing in the fields is iffy, but I had slowed down and the feeling got more intense, slowed from 55 to 35 to make the corner at a bridge over a creek. My windows were down because it was 4 p.m. or so in the afternoon. I yelled out the window, "Just show yourself or leave me the F alone. I'm not putting up with your BS." It was like it was instinct to do so, and it went away. I thought nothing more of it. So jump forward to about a week or 10 days ago. I'm coming home around midnight from Columbus, which is north of Deerfield on Highway 73. I'm tooling along, and I get to a set of 4 90-degree corners and get that odd feeling again. My windows are down again, but this time I feel the need to roll them up. So I'm bitching about this odd feeling to myself when I saw something pretty good size dart across the road from the field to field just outside of my headlights. I know what it wasn't. It wasn't a deer, dog, bear, or cow, etc., easily determined by size, speed, and animal's gait. But I have no idea what it could be. Anyway, the eerie feeling stuck around for 5 minutes until I rounded the next corner. I stopped in Marshall, the town in between, and got a drink, asked the bartender if anyone has reported seeing anything bigger than a dog or smaller than a cow and dark-colored running around. One jokingly asked if it was on 2 legs, to which I replied, no, it was on 4. If it was on 2 legs, I could have figured out what it was and would be doing shots. The guy got weirdly quiet, though, after my answer. I decided it was time to leave as my hands were still shaking a bit, and I just wanted to go home. So that's about it so far. Like I said, it's too close to my home for the liking. I don't want encounters with these things any more than I want another one with Bigfoot. Had 3 of them, and I'm done with hunting like I used to. You know, walking in and out of the woods well before or after daylight. Any info on how to dissuade or direct their attention elsewhere, should I be becoming interested in them, would be greatly appreciated. Definitely, that's interesting, guys, because you hear a lot of times where people will get that odd feeling and just yell like they did. Just like, leave me alone. I'm almost wondering if by yelling out, if they do understand exactly what we are talking. You know? I mean, we don't know. We just can only guess. But I find that interesting. That he yelled out and the feeling went away. But then a week later, he sees this. And then he's at the bar and the guy's like, was it on 2 legs? Dude, my hands would be shaking a hell of a lot more. And if I did drink, I'd probably be doing shots anyway. Anyway, let's jump into today's 3rd Wisconsin submission. Hey Jeff, here's a little bit about me and where I live. I'm a widow living in a small town not far from the area the Beast of Bray Road, aka Dogman, has been seen. I live across the street from a small park. Last spring I was walking home at around 11 p.m. after work. It's only 3 blocks, and I like to relax and have an easy walk home. As I got near my driveway, something walked down my neighbor's driveway, across the sidewalk, and into the park. As this thing walked past me, I first thought deer. No, deer do not have a face like half bear, half dog head. It was far too big to be a dog. It was taller at the shoulders than a 4-foot mailbox. This thing walked 15 feet from me under a street lamp. It was blonde like a deer. It seemed not to notice me standing there confused. I was wrong. It walked into the pitch black and stopped, turned and stared at me. I had a small, dim flashlight in my pocket and shined it in the direction that I felt it was. I saw red eyes staring at me. I wasn't afraid, and I was just frozen, staring back. I remember wishing my light was brighter so I could see the whole animal. It stared into my soul. I felt it was reading my mind somehow. And then it turned away and walked off to the back side of the park. I could move again and walk to my house, then noticed a 10-minute walk took over an hour. To this day, I have no idea what that was or what happened. I no longer walk home due to this, and a few months after, had a major heart attack and can only work a few hours a week due to heart failure. I've never shared this with anybody about that night. Oh, the next morning, went out to look. This thing wasn't standing on a picnic table like I thought. It was standing up to be that tall. Hope my rambling makes some sense. Please take care of yourself, Jeff. Man, can you imagine walking home thinking, just going for a walk in kind of a rural city, and one walks 15 feet away from you and you don't think it notices you until it turns and looks at you while it's across the way. That reminded me of another encounter. I believe it was from Michigan, where a lady once again lived across the street from a park, and she kept seeing the eye shine from her second-story balcony. Just absolutely crazy. Crazy. Tonight's 4th subscriber submitted encounter from Wisconsin. So this next subscriber submitted experience is from a subscriber who her friend shared with her, and she shared it with me. She didn't want her name shared, the woman who had the encounter, so we will just use the first initial of her name. This encounter happened back in March, so 2021. She wishes to keep her name a secret, but this is the big thing. She lives in Elkhorn on Bray Road. Feel free to make it sound better and fill in. Feel free to use my name. I don't hide it from anyone. All my friends and coworkers know. I always have some kind of Dogman encounter to share at work or pictures, etc. I work first shift, so here is my friend's encounter. It was around 7:30 a.m. I hear a knock on my door, so I put my paper down and walk to the door. It was my neighbor and longtime friend A. Just looked really worried, so I invited her in and we sat down, and I made her a cup of coffee and asked if she was okay. I could see tears starting to come out. I could hear her I lost my puppy first. My cat vanishes. I only had her for maybe 2 or 3 years. Then my dog, I let him out so he could use the bathroom before bed. While he was outside, I was making sure my windows and doors were locked. I go to let him in and he wasn't there. I called his name and nothing. He was nowhere to be found. And after a few weeks go by, my son surprises me with a puppy, cutest little guy, black lab. I guess I didn't get my door closed all the way and he got outside. I didn't notice until I hear a yelp and I run out my door. I could see movement in the cornfield and I started slowing down, calling him. I hear a low growl, but I was still walking, saying, "It's okay, baby, mommy's here." All of a sudden, it let out this growl, howl. I turn around so fast, I fell. I was trying to get up so fast I could get my legs. Nothing was working. It seemed to take ages to get back inside. I sat there on the floor with my back to the door. Then it popped in my head. The beast is back. I looked at A and said, "It's not back. It's probably a pack of coyotes. I hear them howl at night in the woods behind our house." But what I didn't say, I was thinking, it's back. The howls I hear are not coyotes. It's nothing from this world. After a while, she has calmed down and went home. The next morning was all normal. I was in my kitchen washing dishes, and I hear this low sound. Like a dog barking in the woods, so I stopped everything. That might be A's puppy, alive and okay. Just lost, so I ran out the door into the woods calling her puppy's name. Then I hear the dog barking, and it sounded like it had its hands around its neck to silence it. So then I hid behind a tree. Something was walking right to me. I put my hand over my mouth and slid down the tree into some brush that was there, hoping the person walking up didn't see me. Then my eyes got so big the tears were just pouring out of them. It had to be 7 feet tall. Muzzle was long. I could see its teeth, and they were red, and blood was still on them, dripping off. And in its muscles, I could see the muscles under its fur. It was a dark brown with some gold when the sun peeked through the trees. Its ears was on both sides of its head like a dog. I didn't see if it had a tail or what its legs looked like. And then it brought up its arms up wide, opened its mouth up wide like a human does, but this was no human. It was the head. The head was that of a dog. The body looked like a human's, but with fur. Dogman right in front of me. I closed my eyes and started praying, "God, don't let this be the last day." More pleased than I could feel the wind blowing on my face. I started to smile a little bit and I opened my eyes. I was looking into the biggest brown eyes I had ever seen before. And like that, I was frozen in fear. All I could do was watch as it opened its mouth slowly. Its teeth were huge. Boom, a gunshot. First time I see a dogman jump up and run off. I slowly peek over the brush and I see A. I jump up and run to her, crying, grab her, and she said she saw me go into the woods, a bad feeling, so she went and grabbed her gun. She followed me into the woods, and when I slid down the tree, she got behind onto and pulled the gun and watched when the dogman walked over to me. She thought I'm going to watch my friend die, so she pointed the gun up into the air and pulled the trigger. I wiped my tears away as she asked, "Why did you come out here?" For I said to her, I heard her dog barking. We started looking around for the puppy or prints. We came across what looked like a bed with the body of a dead coyote beside it. I leaned down to grab a stick to lift its head. Its head fell back off almost. It was pretty close to being ripped off of its body. A was looking at the bed. It was made of sticks and leaves. It was huge, almost a perfect circle, like a human had made it for a few people to sleep on. Honey, I could hear my husband calling out for me, so A and I rushed back, got him inside, and started telling him what had been going on. He laughed at us and said, "Werewolves are not real. Both of you are letting movies get to your head." I don't want to hear any more about werewolves or man-dog. Then he looked at me. "Did you even get things packed for tomorrow?" "Oh my God, I forgot we were leaving the next day." I looked at A, smiled at me, and said, "I'll be okay. My son, going to bed here for a while. You have some fun." So we were gone a couple of weeks. A long drive home. It was late, around 3 in the morning. We were both very tired. We pulled into the back of Bray Road on a little ways down the road. I said, "Honey, do you see that?" He said, "What?" "Eyes on the side of the road up there." He started in looking and slowly driving. It walked down the middle of the road and looked right at us. I started to scream. "I told you it was real. Do you believe me now?" He said nothing and kept watching it. I turned to look, and it was gone, like nothing was there. So we got home. I'm still trying to talk to him. All I could get was, "We'll unpack the car in the morning," and he went to bed. Days go by, and son stopped by and handed me a piece of paper. I looked at him, and he said, "Call her. She believes in what you guys saw together." Days go by. I could think, "It's a joke. She clearly can't believe what all happened." So I filled. She started off with her encounters and how she feels like it's been stalking her since she was a kid. I see there's more people out there going through the same thing. We don't go out into the woods anymore. I don't go outside at night. I know the Dogman is still there waiting for me as well. Okay, so that was not my poor reading. She literally in the first part of it said I'm not a good writer. So at the end, this is what happened. A pretty much shares with our subscriber, Crystal, that, hey, not only did my cat get, disappear, but then I had another dog. Then my son got me a puppy, and it got out. I saved you from a Dogman, but I've had Dogman experiences all my life. Can you imagine that? I mean, just the crazy part of the story is you're sitting on a tree, right? You're freaked out, and you open your eyes and you're face to face with a Dogman. I can't even fathom that. I don't even want to think about it. Because I remember what I saw in '94, and I could never imagine being face to face with that thing. We got one more encounter to finish off Wisconsin. Let's do it. Jeff, thank you for your channel. I had run across these cryptid encounters on YouTube, listening while I drive to work. I soon realized some of these recommended listings, they brought me to your channel. It took me a short amount of time, but I found these encounters you and your counterparts were real. The last statement brings me to reach out, as I believe I had a run-in with a Dogman/werewolf in the summer of 2016/17. This happened in the center of Marinette County, Wisconsin. I was visiting my parents at their summer cabin in the area. I've spent my entire life visiting. I'm 53 now and very familiar with the area. I want to retire there if life grants me that. My experience is as follows. It was a beautiful evening with my parents, and I had just finished supper. We like to put a DVD in the evening to close the night off with. Before the DVD, I would like to go out at sundown and watch the stars turn on. My grandfather taught me this as a child, as the skies were open and we had no city light to front wash the heavens. I had walked to the end of our driveway to get a view I wanted and was standing by the rear side. I've been out for about 10 minutes just looking up into the sky, hands in my pockets, relaxing. Then this deep growl came from the right of me and just ran just across the street. The growl was guttural and penetrated my gut and chest. I felt it through me. I didn't time it, but this noise that I felt through me seemed to last 20 to 30 seconds. This had my attention. It got me to slowly lower my head to the ground and back slowly up the driveway. Whatever it was, let me know it was there after locking the door and checking with my parents if they heard anything. They didn't. I just let it slide for the time being. Well, at the time, I had no clue about these things until finding sites like yours and hearing descriptions. It clicked. Now, I don't have any visual sightings. I am pleased with that. Thank you, sir. So, that finishes up Wisconsin. I hope you all enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Going to be working diligently today, and I can't believe that I actually contacted someone from, it just blew me away. I really wanted more information, and I sat here, and I was like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to find out what and where this occurred. What was the backstory? And even though I didn't get a lot, I got something, And I find it interesting that this rock formation that these people live by is a sacred site, and they believe in portals. So who's to say, Well, the way they described it, it pounds you like a primate. But the DNA sequence that I have was Pachycorcuta corcuta, which is a extinct hyena. And which, to get that DNA tested cost a little bit of money. But I hear there's another channel out there that has a GoFundMe ready to raise money for the DNA testing that they have. And I find that humorous, because I'll tell you exactly how much it cost me. It cost $750 to run that DNA sequence. And I just, for some reason, think that this GoFundMe DNA thing, that whatever this other channel is kind of scamming people. I don't know. There's a lot of bad people out here that'll take advantage of people and take advantage of people's fears. I find it disgusting. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's how I feel. So don't fall victim. And, the way I look at it is, if the DNA is sent to me and I come across something and I can't pay for it right away, then I'll make sure I save my money and not ask, because it's I don't know. Guys, with that, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. May the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life. See you later.